Hello everyone, welcome back! For this MOOC, we wanted to offer you the best advice possible to help you prepare for any TV interviews you may have. We are really fortunate to have with us Audrey Michaelian, who agreed to be interviewed for this MOOC.
I am Audrey Michaelian. I am a French freelance science documentary director and writer, trained in biology, filmmaking and journalism. My work appears on the main French TV channels such as Arte or France 2, but you may have seen some other films I did on international channels around the world. I have also done some teaching, website designing, and I'm the author of a book on collective intelligence. I've also won a number of prizes, like the prestigious prize of the Paris Science Festival, and I'm also the former vice president of the French Association of Science Journalists. The unique feature of television is that it is a mass communication medium. Obviously, TV is less prominent now than it was in the 20th century, when it was the only mass media. Today, there is internet and many smaller communication channels in which the audience is dispersed. But the audience reached through television is still in the millions, even today. Let me give you an example for France, where I'm based. In France, the science program E equals M6 has been on the air for almost 30 years on the channel M6, and it is watched every week by 3 million people at least. Television is also a highly international medium. A documentary, even for a very small channel in France, is often also broadcasted later on the other side of the world. It's a TV business model because producing a documentary is very expensive, and it becomes profitable when it is sold all over the world. The main consequence of this is impact. Few presentations make more of an impact on the general public than a presentation on TV. But this also has an additional channel, which is that TV is the most popular media and therefore the most inclusive. What I mean by that is that everyone watches TV, including children. A special effort must therefore be made to be understood by everyone, especially the youngest or the least experienced in science. As in radio, a scientist can be asked to appear on two types of programs. First, scientific-based reports and documentaries, and second, on the set of a TV show. And the difference between the two is enormous. For a report or documentary, the journalist comes to your lab with a technical team which is usually between 1 and 4 people. Initially, the journalist probably called you to prepare for the filming. Maybe they even came to scout, but now they're coming to film you. They will interview you on camera and probably film you working or pretending to. For these programs, everything takes place at your lab, and it is never live. It's long, but you can redo it, start again, make mistakes, and repeat what you want to say. And I say it's long because it can take about a day to shoot a 3-minute story. This is just an estimate, but I know that it always seems very long for researchers. But that's normal, that's the way the process works. Now, everything changes for the second category that I mentioned earlier, on the set of a TV show. For TV shows, the scientist goes on the set and answers a journalist's questions around the table. Sometimes there are other speakers and even challengers who are there to strike up the debate. It may be live, but even when it's not, it is filmed under live conditions. It takes a couple of hours in total, but there is no editing of the program afterwards, and therefore there's no way to make up for something you said wrong. It probably takes a bit more practice and composure. When a journalist calls you, once you have a rough idea of what they're asking for, it's a good idea to ask their name, the name of the program, the name of the channel, and the viewers they expect. Is it for children or the viewers? Is it a scientific channel or a very general audience? because appearing in a scientific documentary for an older audience or on a children's program is not quite the same thing. Then tell them you will call back in 20 minutes. This gives you time to look online to see who they are, the program, the channel, and therefore to see if you want to participate. I strongly recommend you appear on TV shows, because if you, scientists and experts, don't go on these shows, people less competent than you will take this opportunity to speak to millions of people, and the wrong message will be broadcasted. But of course, you always have the right to say no in life, so make sure you want to go. If you really don't want to, then consider referring the journalist to a colleague who knows the subjects well enough. That way, the journalist won't insist, or not too much. But imagine you say yes. When you call the journalist back 20 minutes later, you will probably discuss the subject. They will ask you lots of questions. That's their job. And don't be surprised if they ask you what you do and what we can see in your lab. Because directing for TV is making a film, and without images, there's no film. There is no need to prepare for every interview. Especially on TV, journalists rarely reveal the questions before the interviews because it is very counterproductive for this specific context. But of course, the interview will be about what you talked about on the phone. But I would suggest you prepare some key talking points. What I call talking points is the main message, the choice of words and the language to use. For example, in astronomy, for a very long time now, the word model has been avoided for use with the general public as it is not totally understood. Instead, the phrase digital simulation was adopted. It's easier for the audience to understand. So the day a journalist calls you to set up an interview, you are ready, and you know what you want to say and how you want to say it. For example, I often prepare myself to explain how TV works in a jargon-free and accessible ways for situations like this MOOC. As naturally as possible. If you know how to have a conversation, then you know how to answer questions during an interview. An interview is just a discussion between two professionals, one in the scientific field, the other in the information field. And you'll see, it will go very well.